Hello student, myself Adubha. I welcome you all in Ratnamani School for Children. Student, today we will learn the unit number 1 and the name of 3 questions. Yesterday we knew about the story of 3 questions and right now we will go ahead and lesson in part number 2. Here 3 questions part 1. But here I make a video part number 2. Here, so we start today from the first paragraph. The thought came to a certain king that he would never fail if he knew 3 things. That is the one thought in king's mind. King thought that if I gave 3 answers of the question, so I never fell in the things in any other things. These 3 things were means these 3 questions were. First question is that what is the right time to begin something? It means that what is the correct time, right time to start a work. Second question, which people should he listen to? It means that which people can be listened by the king. Question number 3, what is the most important thing for him to do? It means that what is the most important thing for the king to do? So, the king therefore sent a messenger throughout his kingdom so that find 3 answers of the question. The king sent their messenger in his kingdom and promising a large sum of money to anyone who would answer this question. And the king promised to his people, if anyone find the answer of the 3 questions, I will give him big amount of money. Third paragraph, many wise men came to the king, but they all answered his question differently. Many wise people, many wise learned men came to the king, but all the wise men gave answer differently. Paragraph number 4. In the reply to the first question, it means that the wise man replied, first question. Some said, means some wise men said that the king must prepare a timetable. Some wise men said to king, you should make a timetable and then follow it strictly. And you should follow the timetable strictly. Only in this way, they said, could he do everything at proper time. The wise men said to the king, by following the timetable, you should do any activity at a proper time. Others said that, it means that other wise men said that it was difficult to decide in advance the right time for doing something. Other wise men said that it is very difficult and it is impossible to do a thing at a proper time, at a proper place in advance. It is very difficult. The king should notice all that was going on, avoid foolish pleasure and always do whatever seemed necessary at the time. So right now the king noticed all the answer and king avoid and foolish pleasure of this question and always do whatever seemed necessary at that time. And king thought, always necessary thing I do at a proper time. Yet others say that the king needed a council of wise men who would help him act at the proper time. Other wise men said to the king, okay, you should make, you should create, you should construct the council of wise men, means that you should make a group of the wise men, and that group help you to take decision at a proper time. This was because the one man would find it impossible to decide it correctly. It means that this was a one man can't decide and can't do work properly at correct time. If many person of group, if the group of person can decide, so the work can, we can do the work correctly at proper time without any help, the right time, at the right place, and the right work we can do with the group of people. Paragraph number, we will go ahead. But then others said that there are some things which could be urgent. But other wise men said to the king, there were something would could be urgent. It is things that many things we can do very urgently, so that we can save our time. These things could be not wait for the decision of the council. And they also said that we should not wait for the council, for the advisor to take the decision. We should take a decision at a proper time, at a proper place, at the correct time. It is necessary to look into the future. It is very necessary. We should know about the future, and then we will take the decision on it. And only the magician could do that. And the wise man said that magician also can do that. The magician can do that, because magician know about the future, so they could do that the thing. The king therefore would have to go to magician. So that king decided to go to the magician to find out the answer of the three questions. In their answer to the second question, some said that the people most necessary to the king were his counselor. Other wise men answered the second question. So the wise man said to the king, people most necessary means the king have counselor, so that king can take decision correctly. Others said the priest, and other wise men said that king should have priest, so that king can take decision correctly and properly at a proper time. A few others chose the doctor. Other wise men chose the doctor, because doctor can take correct decision on the health of the king. And yet others said that his soldiers were most necessary, and other wise men said that king have the soldier, and soldier is the most important part of the kingdom. They can do everything, they can change the situation of the kingdom, so that they are the most necessary. To the third question, some said science. On the third question, some wise men said we should depend on our science. Science can change the thing. Other chose fighting, and yet other religion worship. Other wise men chose fighting. It means that other wise men says that we should fight other kingdom, and so that we can increase our land and we can live happily. But other wise men said that we should we should worship our religion, and we should support our religion, and we should attach with the religion, and we should do the work with the religion, with the help of religion. As the answer to the question was so different, the king was not satisfied and gave no reward. The king was very disappointment, very unhappy, because the king didn't find the answer of the three questions, and many wise men gave solution to the king with differently, so that the king was very disappointment, and king was not satisfied of the answer of the wise man, so that the king didn't give reward to wise man and other people. Instead, he decided to seek the advice of the certain hermit, so that at last the king decided to take help of the hermit. Hermit means saint, it means sadhu. King wanted to take help of the sadhu, means saint, means hermit, who was widely known of his kingdom. And this hermit was very wise and very clever, and his cleverness spread all over the kingdom, so that king wanted to meet the hermit. The hermit lived in a wood which he never left. There was a hermit, and the hermit lived in a wood. Wood means forest. Here the hermit lived in the forest, and he never wanted to left his hut in the forest. He saw no one but simple people, and so the king put on ordinary clothes. King wanted to meet the hermit, so king wore the simple cloth, the cloth of ordinary people, and went to the sadhu. Before he reached the hermit's hut, the king left his horse and his bodyguard and went on alone. Before reaching at the hermit's hut, the king left his horse, his soldiers, his clothes, and he wore the simple cloth, means simple people cloth, and king went to meet the hermit alone, means lonely. As the king came near hermit's hut, he saw the hermit digging the ground in front of his hut. So here a king came near the hermit's hut. King came near hermit hut. The king saw that the hermit was digging the land in front of hut. It means that the hermit digging the land with the spade in front of the king, in front of his hut. He greeted the king and continued digging. The hermit, the saint, the sadhu greeted the king, and the hermit here started to digging the land. The hermit was very old and weak. The hermit was very old and weak, but he did the work to dig the land. As he worked, he breathed heavily. At that time, when the hermit dig, dug the land, that time he took the breath heavily. It means speedily. The king went to hermit and said, I have come to you, wise hermit. King came near the hermit and said him that I have come here, wise hermit, wise saint, I have come here to ask, to answer the quick question. I want to know about answer of the three questions, so that I came here, I come here. How can I learn? Here three questions are: how can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? It means that how can I learn the thing at a right time, at a right place, at a proper condition? Second question: who are people I need most? Means that I need which people I need most and more at my work, in my work. And third one, and what affair are the most important, and which work, which things, which matter I the important for me. These are the three questions. The hermit listened to the king. The hermit silently listened the question of the king, but he didn't speak. But the hermit didn't speak a single word. He went on digging. Hermit, after listening the three questions, hermit started digging. And the king said to the hermit, you are tired, let me take the spade and work in the place. At last, the king said to hermit, you are tired, you are very old, you are exhausted, so please give me this spade and I work in place of you. Said the hermit thanks and giving the king his spade, then he sat down on the ground. After pleading, the hermit gave the spade to the king, and the king started to dug the land, and the hermit sat down on the ground, otherwise sat down beside the hut. We will go ahead in page number 10. When the king had dug two beds, means that king had started to dug two beds, means 2 feet. He stopped and repeated his question, and at that time king stopped to work and he said to the hermit, please give me answer of the three questions. Hermit gave no answer, but hermit didn't give him answer, but stood up, and hermit stood up. He didn't give any answer of the question. Stretching out his hand for spade and said, now you rest, let me work. The hermit stretching means extend forwards his hand to take the spade and said, now you can take rest and let me work. The hermit asked the king, please you can take rest and give me spade, I do work, you can take rest. But the king didn't give him but the king didn't give him the spade and continued to dig. But the king didn't give him spade, and the king started to continue to dig the land. 1 hour passed. After 1 hour, then other. 1 hour passed, then another hour passed. The sun down behind the tree. It means that at the evening, the sun here hide behind the tree. At last the king stuck the spade into the ground and said, at last the king put the spade into the ground and said, I came you, wise man, for the answer to my question. After digging the land at the evening, the king put the spade on the ground and asked the wise man, I have come here to find out the answer of my 3 questions. If you can give me no answer, tell me so, I will return home. And if you can't give me answer, so tell me, I will return home. Here comes something running, said the hermit. At the time here, the hermit and the king were talking. At the time, both of the character here listened. The voice of someone was running towards them. So student, we stay here and we will go ahead in next page.